the monsters attacking the village, causing destruction of life and property while Fate lies unconscious. Set prepares an antidote, bringing Fate back to consciousness. Fate steps onto the battlefield and takes out the monsters one by one with his scythe. He gains the fireball skill by killing them and now faces the leader. Fate uses the scythe to cut through the leader as well. The next morning, they overlook the extent of the devastation, and Set decides to move to the village. Set asks Fate to punch him to feel even, and Greed insists he does so. Fate goes on to visit his father's grave before setting off for Galia. The cart driver offers to pay Fate 3 gold coins to keep him safe on the journey. Just then, a few goons appear in the path and threaten to steal everything. Fate steps in between them to fight them, but the driver clings to Fate, not allowing him to fight. Just then, an axe falls from the sky and chases them away. Main appears and asks for a ride. As she boards the carriage, it tips over. Main orders her weapon Sloth to go back to normal, putting the carriage back in position. They continue their journey to Galia and they have a conversation. Main asks for food and ends up eating a lot of Fate's jerky. They finally arrive in Lancaster. The scene cuts to Lord Rudolph putting up an act of saving a girl from monsters. Fate learns that Roxy hasn't arrived yet. Main falls asleep, and Fate carries her. Rudolph executes 2 men for petty reasons. Fate takes Main to a room and lays her down to rest. Greed reveals that her weapon is also a weapon of mortal sin. He tells him more about the mortal sins. Greed insists Fate improve his strength to resist. That night they go out monster hunting, and Greed insists he fill himself slowly. Fate fights and takes out a sand golem using the fireball skill. He spots another sand golem, but Greed insists he hold on. Main wakes up and grabs something to eat. She sees the poster claiming to reward the person who takes down the sand golem. He then sees many warriors fighting a much stronger sand golem, and heads over to attack it. He eliminates it using the bloody tongue. The warriors appreciate his strength, and he introduces himself as Corpse. Reaching home, he tells Main that he took down the sand golems, and she is infuriated. They go to collect their reward, and he offers her half of the reward. Just then, Lord Rudolph arrives and commands them to work under him. Main gets annoyed and sends him flying with one blow of her weapon.